Joe Biden expected to announce that he is running for president in 2020. He's going to make it official by releasing a video on Thursday. That's going to be followed by a rally in Pittsburgh next week. And while it will be his third run for the White House, this time it's different. He'll be entering the field as the Democratic frontrunner. Biden already leads in early polls, due in part to his name recognition. Of course, he served as a senator for nearly 4 decades and a 2-term vice president, but he's already facing some headwinds. Earlier this year, you'll recall, several women came forward describing what they called unwelcome physical contact with Biden, although not sexual. Biden responded to the allegations, saying he promises to do better. Now, opponents will also likely pounce on the fact that he voted to authorize the Iraq War, all underscoring the fact, Savannah, that in a primary, his history, his record could be a strength and also a liability.
Well, you mentioned his name recognition. Obviously, that's a big strength in the beginning. But the question is whether he fits with where the Democratic Party is right now. We see in some of the candidates more progressive, more to the left, certainly younger, more diverse. So how is he planning to deal with that?
This is an historically diverse Democratic field, Savannah. There's no doubt about that. And right now, the former vice president is signaling that he wants to run on the 3rd term of Obama. Now, that could be effective in a general election. He wants to cast himself as the counterpoint to President Trump. And he stands to potentially peel off some of those working class voters who helped sweep Donald Trump into the White House. But the question is, how will those primary voters respond? We will find out soon enough. He will become the 17th major Democratic candidate to announce. Savannah and Craig.
All right, Kristen, thank you very much.